Reddit is an amazing, yet mysterious place, with millions of users actively posting and talking to one another every minute of the day. One can only fathom what will be seen, ranging from the most innocent to the most sinister post that only Reddit can tell. Tonight, I will be going over a post that was made on the RBI subreddit, the Reddit Bureau of Investigation. So sit back and get comfy, because tonight, I will be diving headfirst into one of the most disturbing posts I have ever read.
This is their story.
On July 8th, 2021, at 5:22 p.m., a Reddit user of the name blueblackjupiter would call the RBI subreddit for help. Their post is as follows. Video proof. Upstairs neighbor stalks me. I can't even begin to describe how unbelievable and frightening this situation is. It started shortly after I moved into my apartment on September 1st, 2020. My therapist picked up on the fact that I seemed uneasy and asked if I felt safe. At the time, I hadn't tuned into my surroundings much, but realized that she was right and I hadn't been relaxing. I'd soon learned why. Inexplicably, my neighbor above would follow me from room to room and just hover over me. For example, if I'm in my bedroom, she will already be in the room above it. If I get up to go to my kitchen, she will tail behind seconds after. If I go back into my room, she will do the same, sometimes even stomping. She's literally my shadow. For the first few months, she did this nearly every single time I got up to do something, even during more intimate moments, like taking a shower or using the bathroom. Dumbfounded, I asked friends if they'd ever been able to hear their downstairs neighbors. I've never heard them in past places and can't hear those below me now. I took detailed notes for a week before realizing things weren't a coincidence anymore. The first person I told was my therapist. She encouraged me to seek out an evaluation, and I did. Not having had a history of such illnesses, I never doubted my observations, but still wanted to rule out the onset of something like schizophrenia. I'm fine in that regard. It sounds crazy, I know, but for the longest time, I've suspected there might be hidden cameras in my apartment. There have been too many things I've done that she's reacted to that wouldn't be possible without seeing me. And honestly, hidden camera crimes will become more frequent once people realize how easy they are to get on sites like Amazon. They're already an issue in places like South Korea. This has caused me a significant amount of fear and exacerbated my medical issues. I've lost months of work and have spent nearly a quarter of my lease living with my friends. I live very much in fear this person could harm me, as they are fixated on me 24/7 and never ever leave their apartment. This is an extremely strange situation, and given how many folks in my periphery have behaved, I believe someone knows something. I can't keep quiet about this any longer, and fear she might do this to someone else. This post lit up like a wildfire. As of today, this post has about 2.7 thousand upvotes and about 1,000 comments. blueblackjupiter even gave video proof of this supposed stalker following them from above. The video is as follows. If this is real, this has to be terrifying, knowing that at any moment, this stalker could try to harm Jupiter. I'll show a comment of suggestions that deem very good in a situation like this given to Jupiter. Their post reads as follows. Inspect every single air vent, outlet, fire alarm, light, fan, anything mounted on a wall or in the apartment when you moved in that you didn't bring with you. Do what another user suggested with turning off the lights and using a flashlight to look for a reflection. If you can afford it, an RF signal detector should help you find any hidden cameras. Lastly, if you have the ability to, please move. After this comment, Jupiter would update Reddit with 5 occasional updates explaining searches Jupiter and a friend of hers would conduct. They found absolutely nothing, which is a great thing to know that the Stalker is possibly not surveilling Jupiter. A fellow Redditor decided to chime in with their thoughts. They said the following: could the stomping noise be coming from pipes? Isn't it a thing that people think their house is haunted because they hear footsteps, but it's really just only pipes? In the video, it says that the upstairs neighbor loves to stomp around when you use the sink or shower, which further makes me think the noise is coming from pipes and not a human. Also, it doesn't make any sense why she would purposely stomp when your hearing is impaired by running water. In addition to the stomping correlating with you using the sink/shower, there's also the weird thing where it's like the same time every night there's a loud repetitive stomping noise that is unrelated to you. It reminded me of a water pump. I think it's possible that it could be your neighbor, but I think this is the first thing to roll out first. Someone replied to this and said, it's called water hammer. There have been people who pulled out walls because they thought animals were stuck in there or ripped up the floor, and it has so many different sounds depending on the shape and size of the pipes. It could sound like someone knocking, like someone moving furniture, someone walking, floorboards creaking, animals on the wall, etc. It would also explain why it seems like the upstairs neighbor is following her around. If pipes run the length of the apartment, it'll sound like that in the ceiling of any room you're standing in. Another Redditor said to reply to this and say, that's a good thought about the water hammer theory, but then what about the bleach left on her doormat? OP also commented saying she had a friend over who stayed in the apartment while she left for 20 minutes or so, and that the footsteps stopped completely while she was gone and resumed once she came back inside. Also, after reading other of OP's comments regarding interactions she had with her upstairs neighbor, it becomes pretty clear that this isn't a water hammer noise, unfortunately. Alright, so now you're probably wondering about what this bleach bottle is. Well, with the video that Jupiter provided, Jupiter also claimed that the supposed stalker left a bottle of bleach on her doormat for whatever reason. The picture is as follows. Now, this picture could mean anything. Any nice neighbor could have dropped a bottle of bleach off just as a kind gesture. It could have been trash. Really, who knows? But let's continue the story on into the more skeptic side of things. A comment I saw seemed pretty plausible. Their comment reads as follows. It's very odd how you start off saying you went to therapy and didn't even seem to know something was going on until your therapist said you looked concerned/anxious. Why did you not mention the court appearance in the original post or even any of the updates? I only happened it upon in the comments. Speaking of it, I find it odd how in your first encounter with your neighbor, you were so blunt and accusatory. Not that that's a bad thing, but you didn't even give yourself a chance to notice any previous bias against you, aside from what could have been coincidental. You kind of open it up with that, which makes it harder to convince others when that's how it starts. Also, do request your lease. I mean, who do you send your rent to? There have been at least 2 people you can contact about that. Good point. Another Redditor decided to chime in and say, are you sure it doesn't just sound like she's right above you, like she's making noises all over her apartment, but wherever you are it sounds like she's just right above you, so you think she's always following you but she's just doing whatever? Edit. She avoided answering this. I don't buy into this at all. All we're hearing is thumps. She says, I just woke up and there's thumping. I just came in the door and there's thumping. Okay, how do you know that they weren't making any noises while you were asleep or while you were out? All this video shows is that the upstairs neighbor seems to be making noises somewhat frequently. It seems a lot like she is paranoid and jumping to conclusions. So you're probably wondering, what's the end to all this? Did Jupiter make it out alive? Did Jupiter give an update as to what happened? Well,
wrong.
Blue-black Jupiter went completely dark after making this post. Looking at Jupiter's history, it seemed Jupiter was pretty active in the no-fee AC subreddit. This all could have been a fabricated story, so Jupiter could go out with a bang. My thoughts on this are that this doesn't seem to be an alt account. With how much post history Jupiter has, it is very strange after making this post that they would just up and vanish. As of today, no update has been given to this supposed stalker situation. I'm personally neutral on this whole situation, as there is a lot of concrete evidence that Jupiter gives to support their claims, while there is also good points pointed out by skeptics in Jupiter's story. Jupiter, if you're out there, consider giving us an update as to what happened with the situation. As always though, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Reddit Mysteries, consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video, and as always, have a nice day.